break inside my back and I was gonna be paralyzed for the rest of my life. Hey guys, so today I wanted to share with you guys my experience of when I had an epidural. I had an epidural with my second baby. I've had 4 kids and I want to share you guys my experience and how it felt. I really hope this video will help you if you're pregnant or if you're considering having a baby. With my first pregnancy, I didn't have an epidural. For my second baby, I do remember going into the hospital a little bit early. When I went to the hospital, the nurses were kind of pushing it, and they were pushing it with the first one anyway. I felt a little bit more vulnerable maybe. I was really uncomfortable because they put you these straps on you. So if you're trying not to have an epidural, I suggest you wait some time before you go into the hospital. But anyway, so they put these straps on your stomach, and I was like huge, and they were super duper tight. I remember they were super tight and they hurt so much, so I kept moving around because it hurt. And when I got into the hospital, I think I was about 6 centimeters. I just remember it hurting so much. After the nurse kept pressuring, kind of just bringing it up, like, oh well, you can always get the epidural, you can always get the epidural. I didn't really want to get it. I had never experienced it. I was like, okay, fine. So then after a while she kept saying it, and I was in a lot of pain. So I was like, okay, just give it to me. I didn't get it with the first one, so I know how it feels to have a baby without an epidural, so how it feels to have a baby with an epidural. I remember I was so scared. I think I was more scared because of the horror stories that I've read where like people get paralyzed, and I didn't want to be paralyzed. So I think that was what I was most scared about, that something was gonna go wrong, or that when they were putting in the needle in my back, that I was gonna move and then somehow I was gonna break inside my back and I was gonna be paralyzed for the rest of my life. So finally they put the epidural in, and I remember it didn't really hurt that much. I think the nurse was like, yes, finally she's gonna stop complaining. So they gave me the epidural, and I was just on bed the whole time. And usually what I like to do when I'm like in labor, I like to move around. I like to get up and pee. For some reason, I would have the urge to pee so much, and I think that was one of the reasons why she kept pushing it, because I kept just getting up and going to the restroom. And then after like a couple, maybe 20 minutes, I couldn't feel anything, like anything. I felt like my legs were not part of my body, and I was so scared. I was like, oh my god, I'm paralyzed. Like I remember trying to pick, because I could still feel my legs at that point, like in the first 20 minutes, I could still feel my legs. But like I remember just them feeling so heavy, and I couldn't pick them up. And I was trying to pick them up, and I couldn't pick them up. And I just started feeling like so anxious, like, oh my god, my legs, like I can't feel them. And then I started getting like, I don't know, I just kept moving around because I was still so uncomfortable. Like I didn't, after, like, I couldn't feel any contraction, so it didn't hurt, but I just felt so uncomfortable just sitting there. So I kept moving, like I was still moving, like it didn't really help. I was still moving, like the nurse still had to come and like keep telling me to stop moving. So I was still moving constantly. I was just so uncomfortable because I couldn't feel my legs. And then after, when I couldn't feel them at all, I remember just like touching them, and they just felt like cold, but like I couldn't feel like that pressure on my leg. Like I was just like pushing it, and like I couldn't feel anything. The only thing that I do like about it, that I guess like was one of the like pros about it, was that I was actually able to sleep. And then finally I was like, you know, I was like fully dilated, and they came in, like, I remember the nurses, after I was like 9 centimeters, like they started getting everything ready. So they just kept coming in and like putting everything ready for the baby, like that bag with like, I guess where the shit goes down. I'm not sure, like they put a bag under you. It's like, I don't know. Finally, when it was time to push, they were like, okay, it's time to push. When, like, side note, I never actually ever felt the urge to push until my 4th baby. I never felt the urge to push, and I was trying to push, but I didn't feel anything. I didn't even know what I was pushing. I couldn't even feel the bottom part of my body. So finally I pushed the baby out, and I just remember, like, I don't know, it was just like so weird. Like I remember with my first baby, I did actually I cried. Yeah, so I guess I did get some of those endorphins, because with my first son I don't remember crying. I remember I was like laughing. I don't know. Yeah, with my first son, like I just felt like this really big like joy. And then with my second son, I just started crying. So I started crying, and but I still couldn't feel my legs, and I was like, when is this thing gonna go away? Because I really wanted to feel my legs. The biggest reason why I didn't get the epidural again is because I think because of all the moving that I was doing while I was in labor. They put you like a catheter so you don't pee, because I kept telling them that I needed to pee. I kept telling them I needed to pee. They kept having to bring like a bedpan, and I guess they didn't want to do that anymore, so they put a catheter inside me. And when they put the catheter inside me, since I kept moving, I ended up getting a urinary tract infection. And for the first like month, I think it felt like a month. It was a long time. I remember the first like month after my son was born, every time I would pee, it would burn. Like I would pee and it would burn. And I remember like it hurt so much. Like I would go into the restroom and I would be scared. Like I would hold my pee like almost all day until I couldn't hold it anymore. And then when I couldn't hold it anymore, I would go in the shower, and I would like the shower wouldn't even help. Like it burned so bad. It was like the worst thing ever. Like I feel like it probably even hurt more than like giving birth. Like it hurt so bad. Like I would pee and it just felt like a burning sensation, and I would just like let little drops out, and then like after, like I would just try to push all the pee out because it hurt so much. That was like probably like the biggest reason why I didn't get it again. So that was my experience with having an epidural. I know everybody else's experience is different. Leave some comments below and tell me if you had a good experience with the epidural. I know some people do have a good experience. I really hope you guys liked this video, and if you did, please give it a thumbs up. I would really appreciate that. And subscribe if you want more content, and leave me a comment also below, like any other videos that you would like me to make, because I definitely would love the feedback. Yeah, thanks for watching. Bye. And stay tuned for Toddler Tuesday.
And I think to myself, what a wonderful world.